You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
It's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'm looking at my clock and that's what it says. And it's time for Mission Log Live, where we talk about all things Mission Log in the live format. And tonight we're talking about episode 5, The Examples.
Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery.
To be fair, there's you got to be specific. There's quite a few shows right now.
I know. I'm like going through the Rolodex. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Star Trek Discovery. Yes, it's tonight. It's live. It's Star Trek Discovery. And with me, reminding me, just in case I forget, which I probably will most of the time, is Holly Day Amos. Hi.
Hi.
How many times do people make that joke in your presence, aside from me? Holly Day.
Oh,
wow.
A lot of people think I was born around Christmas. Not.
No?
Well, I was not.
Okay.
But yeah, I get, deck the halls with me.
Holiday cheer. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I get there's a lot of holiday and Christmas jokes. What's really funny is I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond for like 2 years, like 10 years ago. And there was a girl that I worked with. Her name was Noelle. She was born on Christmas and her dad wanted to name her Christmas. And her mom was like, absolutely not. But we had name tags and we were ringing people up in the same like area. And this guy was like, those aren't your real names. Cause it was Christmas time. And we were like, yeah, those are our names. And he's like,
cheery guy.
He 100% thought that it was like an act and that we were joking and that we had like these fake names because it was Christmas time. We're like, no, those are our real names. We're Holly and Noelle.
Yeah. It's not like my name's Santa Claus, man. I mean, come on, have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right?
No, my dad just liked the name. So it has nothing to do with Christmas.
Well,
but this mug does.
I love your mug. It's so cool. Did you make that yourself?
I didn't. I think I've had this on the show before and I had it last week. My mother, this is a Ractagino mug, but the Ractagino mugs were vintage car mugs before cars had like mug holders.
Oh, so they wouldn't slide around on the dash.
The wide base was so that they wouldn't tip over in theory. My mother found this at a vintage shop and got it for me for Christmas a few years ago.
You're the best, Ma. You're the best. Before we jump into Facebook and see and say hi to all the chat that's going on, because it is lightening up. I'll let everyone know how to call in and all that good stuff.
Yeah, get your questions and comments ready and give us a call. You know how to do it. Click on the Zoom link and use the one tap from your smartphone, or call us at 699-900-6833. Enter the meeting code in the pass room and you will be in the Earl Green room.
Huzzah. Let's take a look at it. I love seeing it.
Who's here? My parents are probably here.
John Cooley got here really early. So
he likes the hum. Apparently we have like a hum, engine hum.
The Earl Green room has like all the best effects. So if you want to hang out and and get that ASMR like effects and chill, that's where you want to be. Let's see. We got Scott Palm here. Rand, what's up, Rand? Cindy, hello, Cindy. Bob, there he is. Bob, I expect you to be top of the list.
The person who picked out the name Holly.
There you go. We have Paul. Hello, Brian. Hello, Alan. Hello, Alan. Brian, David. Let's see. We have Paul, right? I'm seeing one Paul. What's up with you Pauls nowadays? What's going on here? I'm so sad. Hi, Earl. We see Mission Log at Roddenberry Star Trek Podcast. Thank you for reminding everyone as well. We got shipped by Carlos Perez. Horm. That'd be Holly and Norm, or Nolly. I think it's a little bit more exotic.
Okay.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like the second one.
You like Nolly instead of Horm? Horm sound. It sounds like I'm hanging out either Morn or the Gorn. Like
Gorn. Yeah, I thought of Gorn.
So, finally, Paul Harveth. There you are, and Paul Wright, and Paul Harveth. You guys make me sad. Where's third Paul? Where's Trout one? Come on, guys.
Perfecto's not here.
Right. I think the Chris's and maybe the Mike's.
Brian says normally.
Oh, that wins. So huge tonight. Well done. +1 gold star, Brian Hart.
That's the winner.
So we got a lot of stuff coming up on Mission Log this week. On Thursday, we're going to be dropping episode 431, The Changing Face of Evil. That's a big, dark, Deep Space Nine episode.
Yeah, you guys are late. You're almost done.
Yeah, we have a couple recorded in the can, and then we're going to be coming up on. We're going to be recording tomorrow night. So yeah, we have 3 or 4 episodes left, considering that What You Leave Behind is 2-parter.
Yeah.
So John has the dubious honor of being able to handle that one. And then, yeah, we're going to be wrapping up Deep Space Nine fairly soon. We also have our weekly show, Mission Log Engage, on the Roddenberry YouTube network channel. So make sure you check that out. That's where John and I keep finding interesting things to read about with the emails that come in on missionlog@roddenberry.com. We have one of the Pauls, not one of these Pauls that are slacking in the chat, but we have another Paul who's been sending in really fun questions. We do a Wednesday lightning round of like your favorite episode, favorite series, favorite character, who do you want to be, things like that. So yeah, that's fun. And they're not as quick answers as you might think. Like,
no, I was
series.
like, it can't be a lightning round. If you asked me something like that, I'd be like, well, I could tell you my favorite episodes real fast, but like, who do you want to be? I would be like, I have too many thoughts on a lot of these things.
Let me guess. I think if I, do my social media memory act correctly here, I'm going to put a card up to my forehead like the great Karnak, and it's going to be Take Me Out to the Holosuite. What is Holly's favorite Deep Space Nine episode?
That's Deep Space Nine, yeah. Well, what's my favorite Voyager episode? Which is also my favorite episode of all time.
Timeless?
No.
Threshold?
Absolutely. No, Blink of an Eye. Favorite.
Okay.
It's a great episode.
I'm not sure if I've seen that. I haven't seen all of Voyager yet.
Oh, well, you guys are going to start on Voyager, so you will see it. It's season 6.
Oh, okay.
So you've got a ways, but it's a great episode. It's very good and concise storytelling with a very good scientific premise in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, all time? That's high praise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Voyager's not even my favorite series, but that episode is my favorite episode of all time. See, this is why there's too much like weird, like that's my favorite episode of all time, but it's not my favorite. Like that's why I can't answer questions that quickly, probably.
I have to throw some of that stuff on Twitter. I mean, I remember like how much you love Bashir. You have the uniform, you have it signed by Sid. You wore it in an episode once, so that just kind of like stuck in my memory.
I love Julian Bashir. Yes.
There you go. Your man, Bashir. And tomorrow being Tuesday, we will be releasing one of our supplementals that's going to be helping us bridge the gap in that silence that is Prodigy right now until we get back to it on January 6th. So we're going to be releasing a very special interview that we did with Nami, the composer, Nami Melamud.
Yeah.
The composer for Star Trek Prodigy, aside from Michael Giacchino, who does the theme music, but Nami talks about how she got into it and kind of like the demands that the show have like for all of her talents. She's so fascinating and so fun.
She's the first, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, you guys. I think she's the first female composer that we've had for like a huge portion of a show.
Main composer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I asked her, one of the questions was, and this is just a little bit of a spoiler, like, how did you feel about joining the ranks of, say, Jeff Russo and Dennis McCarthy and Jay Chataway, obviously Alexander Courage, and all of these great composers. And she said that, well, you'll hear it all tomorrow when you tune into.
Don't ruin it.
When you tune, just a little nugget, little spoiler. You can find that also on the Mission Log Prodigy channel on Roddenberry Entertainment, and then podcast.roddenberry.com. So there's lots of stuff coming this week. And of course, you can also find Mission Log, the Orville on those channels as well. All right. So what do you say, Holly? We get into a recap.
Yeah, I haven't read your recap, so I'm going to be an audience.
It's not as long as last time I was on.
The last two have been really long, but
it's so plot heavy. I mean, these episodes, as much as I enjoyed this episode, I was like, man, I got to cut down. Like, how much plot can I cut out before it just doesn't make sense anymore? There's like no fat, it's all plot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right?
No,
maybe
we've got some good storylines in this episode, so it was good.
All righty, so let's jump into it. Star Trek Discovery, Season 4, Episode 5, The Examples. As the USS Janeway and the NSS T'Pau come into visual range of the dark matter anomaly, it vanishes, and then shortly after reappears 1,000 light years away. Commander Stamets and Captain Burnham both conclude that no natural phenomenon like this can break every known law of physics, unless the DMA was in fact manufactured and not a natural and reoccurring phenomenon. Burnham reports these findings to Admiral Vance and tells him that the DMA is encroaching on a former Emerald Chain colony populated by the Akali on the Radvik asteroid belt. The Federation's mission now is twofold: evacuate the asteroid colony and save as many lives as possible, while trying to discover who created the technology that is controlling the DMA. Vance has also informed Stamets and Burnham that Ruan Tarka, a scientist who is developing the bleeding edge technology for Starfleet's next generation spore drives, will be assisting in the investigation, much to Stamets' dismay. Upon arriving at Radvik, Burnham contacts the Akali magistrate, who informs her that over 1,200 evacuees, 6 of them are examples, prisoners who have been left behind by their wardens who fled their posts in panic of the evacuation. As Saru oversees the general evacuation, Burnham and Book beam down to the planet to free the examples, along with Reese, who volunteers to help aid Saru's efforts on the surface. However, they are racing against time as transporters and communications will be compromised once the DMA is in range. As they approach the prison facility, Burnham and Book set their efforts towards freeing the examples from a heavily fortified prison facility, complete with exploding and mobile beetle-shaped mines. Back on Discovery, after checking in to see how Dr. Culber is emotionally holding up, due to the immense amount of personal counseling he's been offering the crew, Stamets meets with Ruan Tarka. And aside from his very brusque and impersonal attitude towards everyone around him, Tarka sets out to recreate the science which the DMA has been based upon in the Discovery's engine room. Saru is beyond apprehensive, but Stamets promised that this is the only way to prove his and Tarka's theory, which will lead them to whoever created the technology that made the DMA possible. After breaching the prison defenses, Burnham and Book engage with the 6 examples who have all been imprisoned unjustly for very minor infractions. All but one. Felix, the example who speaks for the rest, demands assurances for their freedom. Burnham assures him that she'll represent their legal interests once they are all safely aboard Discovery. Meanwhile, Dr. Culber, in a very brief and brutally candid therapy session with Dr. Kovich, accepts the truth about his emotional weariness. Kovich, am I saying that right? Is it Kovich or Kovic? I think it's Kovich.
I think it's Kovich. I think you're pronouncing it right. He's only said his, I think they've only said his name once so far. Keep going. Okay.
Kovich, in his very direct way, forces Culber to accept his second chance at life and not to punish himself for surviving where many others have not. In Discovery's engine room, Stamets and Tarka are on the verge of proving their theory about DMA's technological origins, but their experiment proves to be far too dangerous to the safety of Discovery, and Saru has to shut them down before their so-called controlled experiment destroys the ship. After reviewing Starfleet regulations, Burnham assures Felix and the examples that she can grant them political asylum aboard the Discovery. With that in place, they prepare to leave, and Felix digs through his cell for a personal object, a Laloji orb, traditionally used to record Akali family history. However, a prison's failsafe activates, trapping them with only minutes before transporters and comms are rendered useless to escape. Burnham reprograms the explosive beetle mines to blow a hole in the doorway, allowing everyone to finally escape. The examples beam away to safety, but Felix gives Burnham the Laloji orb and chooses to stay behind to atone for the crime he committed 30 years ago. Back on the bridge, Burnham contacts Felix, who confesses his crime for all to hear. 30 years ago, he murdered an Akali family man, orphaning his daughter after being offered food and shelter. He implores Burnham to find this daughter and give her the Laloji orb so she knows that her family heritage was not lost. And with his crime confessed, Felix is consumed, as is the asteroid chain as it plunges into the nearby sun. After Spore jumping to safety, Burnham informs the Akali magistrate that the examples are now under her protection and points out that all of the Akali are now refugees in search of a kinder and more accepting society upon which to resettle. Burnham then finds the surviving daughter of the man Felix killed and gives her back her family's orb and her family's history as well. As things settle, both Stamets and Culber enjoy a moment of solace, understanding that amidst all that has happened to them, they still need time together to heal and to find a healthier path forward. Finally, Tarka and Book share a real non-synthaholic drink together in the crew lounge. Tarka is drawn towards Book's raw and real anger, something that Tarka is very familiar with, as Book quietly observes Tarka rub a large scar on the back of his neck. The end. Dun, dun, done.
Can I just say, when Tarka walked in, I was like, my immediate response was, oh, rude. And then like by the third scene, I was like, oh no, do I love him?
That guy's got some swagger, right? In his own way, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in my note. You guys can't see, but Norman can see in my notes. It literally says, wow, rude. And then later it says, do I love him though?
There's a thing about him. Like there's almost, once you say like, hey, you know what? This guy's no, he's not here to impress anyone. Like he's here to get the job done, yada, yada, yada.
No,
like, okay.
His bluntness is kind of refreshing.
He's like absolute candor, but in a different way, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Mike? I heard the big sigh.
I get why I was going to say absolute candor and you took it from me, man, but good for you. So we're like, we got the mind meld thing going on. So that's awesome.
Welcome, Captain Mike Richards.
Welcome, Captain Mike.
So good to be here. Did not realize I was unmuted for that. I was just,
I didn't realize you were either. And I was like, oh, I guess we have to.
Just getting
I guess we're
ready to
doing
say that. So I guess,
what did I do? I'm stealing his lines.
But man, three really good episodes in a row. Really starting. I think this show's really starting to strike a nice balance between. We were just talking about this in the Earl Green Room. Between serialized and episodic, you get a good, nice sort of well encapsulated, well told story. With a payoff. So at the end of the day, you could tell Burnham was like, you know what, today was a good day. Like, and a couple of hits, couple of misses, but it was a good day. We helped some people. I helped this lady right here gather her past and her future. We got. By
the way, she was pregnant too. If people didn't
fantastic!
Notice that.
I did not notice that
she was pregnant when she turns around. So that's like
so.
Generations and that's why are continuing.
And that's why she said future generations. Apparently, not. I mean, more specifically, other than just in the general term. And then we still got a little bit, a little travel down the road, a little bit of the dark matter anomaly or the DMA, if you will.
That's right. The DMA, man.
Yeah,
that's the lowdown.
The introduction of the concept that the DMA has been created by someone or some species.
Well, I think it might have been a probe sent out to learn all that is learnable. And now it's coming back to bring.
Or perhaps a possible doomsday machine.
Possible with energy. Pure
That's right.
Energy.
Pure. Absolutely pure.
So interesting to see like what everybody's immediate reaction was in that moment, because my immediate reaction, and I can't tell you why, because it's completely illogical. Like almost immediately afterwards, I was like, no, it can't be that because of reasons A, B, and C. But I was like, oh, the Borg. And then I was like, no, it can't be the Borg. Like just like
why not?
Well, no. Okay. So the reason why I thought the Borg was because of the level of technological advancement that would be required to do that. But the Borg they're a species that assimilates other species. It would not behoove them to kill everybody.
Yes.
So,
you can't assimilate what you've destroyed.
But my immediate thought process was like technologically advanced the Borg. And then I was like, no, it can't be the Borg. But that's interesting that people had other like thought processes.
There were some other things. It was fun to hear the Metrons brought into
the
Met conversations.
No mention of the Malkotians though. I mean, come on, there's other godlike beings.
They're basically like the Metrone's light, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. As much as I love Spectre the Gun, they are just like rehashed.
And then I was thinking about how many things in space do disappear, but we could probably spend plenty of time naming all the things.
Well, they got the caretakers in there. They got the Q. They got the Iconians. They like talk like this is like big like celestial level hitting stuff. I'm surprised they didn't throw like the prophets or the paw wraiths in there. Yeah. Or something like that.
Well, I mean, maybe they didn't throw them in because that's the answer, and they want to
redirect.
I really hope that it's. I actually really want it to be a species that we've never heard of before.
So I think giant. What do you say? Giant star, massive star. Probably some kind of Dyson sphere sort of thing around it. I don't know that we ever determined who built the Dyson sphere in the episode Relics.
You're still talking about that old relic?
I'm talking about the Enterprise 1701.
No bloody A-B.
Bloody A-B.
You know what? I hope it's something that isn't borrowing from, another like. Oh, here's my hope of hope, my wish of wishes. I don't want it to be some kind of like perverted, advanced 900-year-old, Section 31 tech. Please no. Please, for the love of everything, no. Right? I don't want to see that unless you're like, hey, look, Section 31. Let's rehash all that so that we can introduce maybe some momentum to get into the new series. I don't care. I don't want it to be Section 31 ever.
Maybe it's the Sphere's mom. You got the Sphere and the Sphere data, and now we got the Sphere's like mom.
Well, we had
looking for
Zora
the
like
Sphere.
being all empathetic, right?
So Zora's
Yeah.
cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
if one of my favorite episodes, that's just a weird short trek episode, was Calypso.
Yeah. it was a
And
great
basically they kind of intimated, that while the ship jumped forward 1,000 years, like it continued to evolve during that 1,000 years and absorb and assimilate, if you will, the sphere data and gain consciousness. And I thought that was a really neat story that was told during that episode. And now we're starting to see that the ship did somehow take that sphere data, maybe, and gain consciousness. But I think that was the crux of the episode Calypso of Short Trek, that the basically in that nanosecond that it felt the crew took to jump 1,000 years or 930 years, whatever it was, the ship actually had 930 years to evolve, because maybe time passes differently for a
that's interesting.
starship than it does a human or other carbon-based life unit.
Did any of you guys, or did any of the listeners out there get the Close Encounters of the Third Kind vibe when Tarka brought in the potatoes? I was like, "Are you going to start?"
I thought he was going to make a shape.
Are you going to create Devil's Tower?
The first thing I thought, I was not thinking a ring with a P, but I was thinking this is going to be he's going to make a shape out of this. And there's probably so many other things he could have made with. But I'm glad that you brought him up, because I like strong personalities. And I like I respect smart people, because I'm not one. So I respect what people are. And he's got kind of those two things going for them. And I really, really enjoyed the interaction. One of my favorite lines, laughed out loud, was, "You probably don't like me. I love me. And I'm not going to let anything happen to me. And therefore, nothing's going to happen to you." So I thought that was so much fun. But what are we thinking? What are we thinking Neck Thing is? I mean, the only Neck Thing I remember is Conspiracy. But was this? My wife mentioned there was something more recent.
It's a controlling unit from when they were enslaved by the Emerald Chain.
That's exactly what she said. I had totally forgotten that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I mean, he's Rycian,
Yes.
right? However you want to pronounce it. It's been pronounced several different ways. So yeah, those they were enslaved by the Emerald Chain. So that's a scar that's left over from the controller device.
Excellent. That is exactly what she said. I will have to go and apologize.
Which is why that conversation at the end is interesting, when he's talking to Book about like anger is useful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So there's something there. There's some edgy stuff there. She kept saying, "I don't like him. I think he's a bad guy." And I'm like, "I love him."
I know, because that was my immediate reaction too. I was like, "This guy's rude. I don't like him." And then 2 or 3 scenes later, I was like, "No, I love him."
So I'll be sad. I'll be sad if he's a bad guy.
I hope
I
he doesn't
definitely did. I mean, I think and again, it's. I mean, I feel like the show's really hitting its stride now. I've really enjoyed the last 3 episodes, and really looking forward to seeing where it goes. Probably for the first time since at least the middle of season 3. I'm this excited about the show.
Super cool, man. Super cool. So honestly though, what is your real prediction, do you think, about the DMA? Like, who do you think created it?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it could be anything, from V'ger on steroids to I honestly, Holly, I think you talked me out of it, but I too thought of the Borg. But you then, unlike me playing Yahtzee, you played chess and went 2 or 3 or 4 moves down the road.
Unless
and said, no,
the
it can't be.
Borg have completely changed the way that they make more Borg. There's no reason for them to be wiping out entire civilizations.
Ooh, maybe you can just kind of like pick up the chunks and assimilate that. Who knows?
Not Yahtzee. Wait, hold on a second, Mike. I got to correct you on something. You're on the bridge of the Orville. You're wearing an Orville shirt. It can't be Yahtzee. It has to be Latchcombe. Come on, man.
Apparently, I won.
You gotta remember, it's about Latchcombe.
That's good stuff. We're getting ready to wrap up season 1, man. Holly, Jessica and I are going to record tomorrow morning, episode number 12, and then we're jumping into season 2. There's 14 episodes with 1 2-parter, so there'll be 13 more episodes of Mission Log the Orville coming before the March 10th release date, and then there's some news dropped on that, some new cast members, and a new look on the ship. It's going to be great.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. And keep up the good work. You and Jessica are like, you're killing it. And you can always find Mike and Jessica on Mission Log the Orville on the Roddenberry Entertainment channel on YouTube. obviously on podcast.roddenberry.com, but you want to see both of them in action on the bridges doing their thing.
So it's been so much fun. And Norman, like you, I got my start sort of, we talked about Trek FM and I got involved there, and John and you invited me to do this, and Rod, and it's been fantastic. So thank you so much for your mentorship, your friendship, and tutoring myself to kind of maybe not in the same ballpark as you, but maybe a minor league ballpark of the same affiliate. So thank you, sir.
I bet you Chris Jones over at Trek FM, he's getting tired of Roddenberry, stealing his talent, poaching his podcasters. Mike, all I got to say is that I just swept away some of the marble bits. The statue was already there.
Ah, very nice.
Okay.
Holly, Norman, thank you so much. I'll talk to you.
Alan, what are you rolling your eyeballs for? Is that too poetic for you? Come on now.
Now, okay, so we have to bring in Alan now that you're talking to him.
Great.
Yeah. He's like, I said that thing to Mike. It's like, oh, geez, cheesy. Nice job, Norm.
No.
That was going to be my line. I was going to be like absolute candor. But now, are you sure it was the statue that was underneath all the dust wasn't Mela Griffindon? Because that could be kind of dangerous too.
I'm just, you know what? I was feeling waxing poetic at the moment. So
excellent.
I gave you a nice send off. Get off my bridge.
I'm out.
Here. Right.
You're not even on a bridge. You're in space.
I know. Space. What's up, Alan? What's going on, buddy?
Oh boy. No, that was me just very briefly trying to remember what that was a reference to. That was Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
You are correct, sir.
I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to do the Karnak thing. Tonight is Karnak, so you got to hold an envelope to your head and say, cheesiest compliment ever. What Norm just paid Mike as a compliment. So come on now.
Oh boy. It's 'tis the season, I guess. It's everyone loves it's if you can't be cheesy around Christmas time, then when can you be? So it's all good.
Do you feel like you get like a little bit of an emotional, I don't know, a skewness during the holiday season?
A skewness?
A little bit.
a skewness. Like you're emotionally askew, like one way or the other. Yeah.
Well, it's hard not to. I mean, it's I think a lot of people have complicated relationships with the holidays, and I think that's true to some extent for me. But I like to think that it's a good time. I mean, I was just watching not one but two airings of The Wizard of Oz tonight. So I mean, how can you go wrong with that? That doesn't happen,
back to back.
You watched it twice.
Back. Well, it was on back to back.
That's what I'm thinking. That's weird, and then I think about like 24 Hours of a Christmas Story. Like,
exactly.
That's not that weird.
Same, coincidentally, same channel.
Oh well, everybody there just clocks out.
Yeah.
For like 2 weeks, and that's all they do.
We're gonna run. We're just gonna do this for now, and that'll be fine.
I wonder if they'll ever do I would love to see like a Hallmark channel kind of with Star Trek stuff, relationships. Like, that would be some. Why? Why, Holly? She's like clutching her heart. Like, why did you say that? God. You wounded me so deeply.
Oh God.
Oh, like
I don't know. The
Janeway
Hallmark
and Chakotay or something like that.
oh my God.
Oh, I'm surprised that Robert Beltran hasn't been in a Hallmark movie. And if he has, then apologies, Robert. But man,
you'd be surprised.
I would certainly not be. I mean, I think my favorite. I'm not really a Hallmark movie aficionado. At least not currently. I haven't watched any in a while for reasons. But when I did, when it was a part of my life, a big part of my life, one of the best things about it was spotting the crossovers between the Hallmark stuff and all of the sci-fi action adventure CW stuff. Like, I loved that Lexa Doig could simultaneously be a terrorist from the future and Candace Cameron Bure's goofy best friend from the murder ladies.
You're on your own here, buddy.
Yeah,
I might have to redirect you back to
this
Discovery.
is outside my realm of expertise.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're like going like way outside the DMA zone. You got to come
Yeah.
back.
Tupac
Right, you got
was
to come
in
back.
Tupac was in at least one. He was in at least one Christmas movie.
Well,
He got
actors got to pay the bills, man.
I think he got a trip to the Bahamas out of it. So there you go.
Also, a trip to the Bahamas always works.
Yeah.
I do that for sure. Okay, so we have we're looking around this theory about the DMA and being man-made, and what's your theory on it? Like, who do you think made it, aside from the obvious name drops that they had in the episode?
Well, I think they're close. They've identified it as species 10C. I think they need to go one step further and have it be species 10cc. That it's actually the English rock band who did I'm Not in Love.
Oh, dude, brilliant. Around the circle, people. Did you follow him around the room? You see that?
Yeah.
2 circles
Uh-huh.
and a snap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly
You're flexing so hard, man, with the puns right now.
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on.
well, that's to cover the fact that I really have no idea. I agree, at the end with Mr. Tarka and his they're idiots. It can't be. It's not the Metrons. It's not the the. I had to look it up that they were referring to the caregiver species
Takers, sir.
from Voyager.
Takers, sir.
I was like, oh, that's what they're called. That's good. I don't. It's either. I doubt it's going to be something that we've never heard of before, but at the same time, I think that it's got to have some personal connection to something. Either it's maybe something that has gotten out of hand from an old emerald chain thing that he was working on with Aurelio and whatever else, or possibly it's some. I liked the talk about the sphere data and Zora becoming conscious and how maybe there's a connection there that some element of that is. I also am hoping it's not anything that relates to the season 2 section 31 stuff. I'm happy that we left that in the past.
Or did
we? Or did we? Oh boy.
It's something from the mirror universe.
Oh, God,
exactly.
no.
It's the mirror universe
I can't do that either. Why would you do that to me?
Of the controller program from section 31.
Let me ask you both a question. And the audience too. I was gonna take a break for doing Patreon, but I'm gonna talk about Patreon towards the end of the show because I really want to get into something that I thought was really, really interesting. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about, and I didn't write down his name. You all can help me on this one, but the actor who played Felix.
Okay.
Really powerful performance, really engaging for maybe like a one-off character. I found I just couldn't like him and Tarka. They both just had me mesmerized, just their performances. And I'm not sure how significant Felix's role is. I mean, obviously he was able to give, the guy that he murdered his daughter, her family history back. But wow, standing up for his crime, doing his penance, doing the right thing, leading by example. This is one of the things that in my notes where I said, looking at leading by example, he did. He said, nope, I got the people off because their crimes weren't nearly as severe as mine. I was here for a reason. I'm going to stick to my guns and say, I'm paying for it. But you got to get this back to this other, this child who's a grown woman now because I robbed her of her family history.
Having a child of her own too.
Yeah.
Now I got to pay for it.
actor's name is Michael Grey Eyes, and he
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
native. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Nahia, which is Plains Cree from the Muskeg Lake Cree Nation in Saskatchewan.
Powerful acting performance.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
great.
he was super good. It's sort of like just a very dynamic performance, and to do it in such a way that it was almost distressingly slow and methodical. It's like the whole time, it almost, in a weird way, it kind of felt like, not that it was, comical or meant to be something that should be made fun of, but it was the kind of thing that Lower Decks does make fun of a lot, where the ship shows up and they're like, okay, we've got this thing that we need to do. We have a very limited amount of time to do it, and we need to are we all on board? And the alien is like, hold on, I have conditions. And it's like, all right, yeah, we'll listen to your okay, that's great. Nope, we're gonna take this slow. we're gonna make sure that everyone knows what the situation is and why this is wrong. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, yep, we get that. Now can we go?
Yeah, time
we
to
can go.
that. Anytime that something like that is happening, and there's like this long drawn out, I'm like, I would be, if I was in that situation, if I was an officer that was with them and was trying to get everybody off this planet, I'd be like, you gotta
Yeah.
speed up your. Come on, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Can we keep this moving?
But can we do a walk and talk?
Yeah.
Can we
I mean, the scenes make for really wonderful moments, and that was a great character. And I'm his story was really interesting, but also I was like, it's coming at you guys. Hurry up.
So was it just me? Because I really did like this episode quite a bit. Was it just me? But I'm like, guys, you're putting a lot of effort in for 6 people, or is that the point?
Well, that's the interesting moral conundrum, right? Which they've,
Yeah.
The show has had for the last couple of episodes, which I'm appreciating. Where would you draw the line, Norman?
Yeah. Michael.
Well, I would draw the line with we're not going anywhere. All right. We came down. We wanted to help you guys. If you guys don't want our help, we're out of here.
All right. We checked.
Right?
Everything's
We
good.
checked.
You would be able to, you would be able to go down there and be like, oh, you guys don't want to come with us? Okay, we tried. And then like watch them get destroyed, and consciously you would be okay with that?
If the time limit,
with your level of like trying to get them off the planet.
if you tried and they don't want to go, they don't want to go. Right. I mean, that's the thing, is like, I got 30 seconds to get all of you out of here. I'm going to spend 20 of them trying to get you out. I'm going to spend the next 10 leaving. Right. That's right. They tried. I'm not saying that they failed, but with Gray Eyes, they're like, look, like, I know Book was upset, but what's Michael going to do? Stay there and die with him? Like, what does that serve? What point does that make? Right. So, I mean, I understand, like, this guy wants to stay, but Burnham has no penance to pay. You know, she has a ship to lead. They need her up there.
How about these other 5 people that you very clearly want to make it out of here? Let's make sure that they survive as well. I liked that they were like, yeah, we're on board with it. Like what? I was jaywalking and I got thrown in jail. Hell no, I'm not staying on this planet. Right.
Somebody stole food for their family, which I was very much like, oh, it's Jean Valjean. We're prisoner 24601 now.
I like to think that one of the 2 people who didn't get any speaking parts fell into some flowers.
Oh, why, Alan? There's no justice for somebody like that.
Can there be justice where laws are absolute?
Only when you have bigger guns. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I do agree, though. Michael does very much have this sort of like, no one gets left behind. attitude, and I'm sure it's it's all a byproduct of all the accumulated trauma of leaving everyone, leading everyone to the future, and then getting there and finding out that it's not what they expected it to be, and having to rebuild everything, and needing to rebuild the Federation to a point where literally everyone who was once in the Federation must now be part of it again. It really makes me wonder, is this part of the lesson that Rillick was trying to teach her back in the first episode? Like,
Right.
You can't. You have to be able to be good with, your limitations, I guess.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much what the goal was, and to not, put, a little bit, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one to a degree. You can't risk everybody, or is it worth risking everybody to save one person?
For this episode, I'm less that, and well, I mean, that's certainly a question, but also, and I get it, she's the star of the show, but I'm always like, why are they sending the captain down?
her and I was thinking about that too, because it almost feels like this is sort of one of the weird quirks of how the show has to be made right now, because it always seems to be, oh, I'm going and Book is going with me. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna abbreviate, like in my synopsis, I'm just gonna call him like B squared. I'm tired of like always typing like Burnham and Book. Here's the thing that kind of like just bugged me. I'm like, why didn't they give Reese that job? Right? He said like, hey, I want to help out. Give the Asian brother a chance.
He even gave like a great, like he even gave like a very heartfelt reasoning as to why like he really wanted to be helping in that scenario.
Right. This is how you get like the other cast members involved. Right?
Yeah.
Give them an actual shot at the story because he had an actual desire to go down and help out because of that, what you just said, Holly. And you know what? He could have had an interesting dilemma of whether or not he was going to try and get out Felix. Not Burnham. Burnham's already kind of like learning that lesson. But what about the other crew that could learn that lesson as well? And he's wearing, he's a bridge officer, so he needs to learn these moments to basically experience what it's like to make the hard call. I don't know. I just felt like, come on, he was almost there, and he wasn't.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, Holly and I have a chance here, rarely, if ever, because usually we're flying by the show so quickly that we actually have a chance to look at our notes and actually discuss our notes. So I just want to stick around and jump into some of our deeper thoughts, but we always try and get in when we can, some of kind of like the deeper morals and meanings and messages of.
So our notes are so different. You and John like put out these like long like thoughts, and I've just like, as I watch, I'm like, Janeway! ! Like, I have the most disjointed notes.
Mine's like, I just put a lot of bullet points in my notes that make them look
it's
like
super organized, which I appreciate.
Well, I mean, you have Janeway. I love that. Janeway with an exclamation point. Must have been fun, right? Seeing that.
Her, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, to Tig finally showing up.
Where's she been? Right?
I love her character too.
Why can't you have like Tig just kind of every once in a while like peeking in or piping up or something? Like,
I mean, truthfully, I have a feeling that a lot of absences or perceived absences are probably having to do with COVID right now.
Most likely. Most likely.
So I mean that's the real world reason. I feel like Tig was finally able to like get there, or even scheduling, because like Tig's busy. She's this is not the main thing that she does, and we're lucky to have her because she's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember them specifically talking about her and the challenges of being of getting her on set with the restrictions and everything, and how that would unfortunately limit her ability to be on the show. But if it's going to be stuff like this, then great, because I do think that she was sort of like definitely the counterbalance to our buddy Tarka, in terms of, constantly being the, okay, let's not blow ourselves up today
Well, like
message.
Tarka and Stamets are both super amped, right? Like they want to figure this out. Great. They're both scientists. Great. Figure it out. God, I hope you do. Tig's character, Jet Reno, is very much like sort of taking them down a couple of notches. Like, hey, I want to help you, but maybe calm down.
I found it interesting that, it's kind of like when you have people with very similar personalities, when they walk into a room to like see each other for the first time, they're so similar that they hate each other because they kind of like see a mirror image of themselves and maybe they don't like it as much. But once they actually started, like when Stamets and Tarka started focusing on the job, I think it was interesting watching Stamets start to appreciate his brilliance. It's like, wow, this guy is, I'm smart, but this guy's really smart, and like, let's get this thing done. I almost found like Tarka was like what Stamets was like when we first met him, like in season 1 of Discovery, where he was like super smart, but super arrogant and really just short with people who weren't nearly as smart as he is. And all of a sudden now you're dealing with a bigger fish in the room. You're like, yeah,
he's a bit of cool guy Stamets. But I do give Stamets credit at the end that he was like, yeah, he's brilliant, but he also scares me. And I think that's good. And I think that, not to, play the prediction game too hard, but I think maybe that's why I think what we're getting in the final scene is sort of like Tarka realizing, okay, I've gone as far as I can go with Stamets. He's going to play inside the box. He'll push the box as far as I want to, but he's not going to go outside of that when Saru and the rest of the power structure is there. But this other guy, maybe there's something there that I can, use to whatever ends that I've got going on. Like,
so you think that Tarka's working the room?
I think he's working the room, and I think Cleveland Booker is the next dance partner up on the card.
Oh, maybe.
So
I thought that Stamets was saying what he said to Culber because, and this is something I also wanted to get to. I think he's fearing a little bit for Culber's sanity.
A little bit, yeah.
And we obviously saw that with Kovich, right? What he was going through. Holly, what did you think about that?
I mean, that whole scene kind of made me a little bit emotional. And I think that, it's a continued conversation of a thread that we've seen throughout the season and throughout the last actual couple seasons of the show is, Culber's admission that he needs help is important. I don't think he was ever really meant to be he's a doctor, a medical doctor, but I don't think he was ever really meant to be the counselor. That's a role that he's taken on himself. And Kovich's analysis of why he felt the need to sort of like take on that role was super interesting. So in terms of his character development, I think that was a really important and interesting scene, and again, I always appreciate the conversation about mental health.
I think in some way, we were dealing with another example of examples. Like examples is an interesting title, right? I wrote down a couple of
it's got a couple of different meanings, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have the examples literally of the Collins that were down there imprisoned, either justly or unjustly, in the facility. But then you have all these different examples of archetypes that you think maybe are in need of help, or are starting to change a little bit. You had Burnham, right? Burnham becoming the example that that a Starfleet leader, perhaps, needs to be for somebody like a Book, right? It's like, we can't save everyone as much as 4 episodes ago. That was her personality flaw. Like, I need to save everyone at the expense of everyone else. That's not this case. He's like, nope, we're saving 5. We're leaving 1. That's the deal. We're out of here. And Book's like, no, we can't. We have to save everyone. It's like, no, we can't. She's becoming something like that for maybe Book. Felix, what I loved about him is that he was the example of standing up for your responsibility, right? He made his bed and he chose to lie in it.
Right, which in and of itself, and this was something that was sort of swimming in my brain as I was watching it, is like, his character, Felix, genuinely feels as though he deserves to die for what he did. And that aside, the fact that he is able to admit that and tell the story about what he did, does that sort of put him in a situation in your eyes in which you would be like, he actually doesn't deserve to die because he's taking responsibility?
I think that's where I respected what Burnham did. He's like, I respect the choice that he made for himself. I can make, like, she could force him to do it, but that's taking away his right, his choice. Right. And I thought that was a really interesting situation. Even Book's like, no, get him out of here. We're saving everyone. It's like, no. This is what he has chosen to do to pay for his crime. Right.
Yeah.
And if you take that away from him and he lives out a life sentence in some jail cell or, under diplomatic protection, what does that do to a person like him? Right. He'll never have the satisfaction of being able to say, I chose this. I was able to go out on my own terms and make peace with that. Right. That's something that not a lot of people have the choice, to make for themselves, or to have people respect that about that choice. The other thing that I found really interesting was Stamets kind of like being the example of knowing he was once the all-consuming workaholic, and now seeing how Culber has become that in his life.
But I mean, we analyzed why, though, right? Like Kovich
Right.
analyzed why he's like that, and psychologically, it's interesting.
But I like how, like, I think there are a lot of us who have experienced grief where, not either personal grief or tangential, like somewhere in our life where we've buried ourselves in our work. After my father died, that's all I did. That's all I did from sunup to sundown until I had just enough sleep to be able to get back to work the next day, because it's a distraction, and if you're really good at your job or really enjoy your job, it can be the distraction that you need, but it's not necessarily allowing you to confront what needs to be
it's
dealt
not
with.
necessarily healthy to not really like sit with your feelings. And I mean, after Grant passed away, I was already working a lot. I have a full-time job. I own my own company. On the side of that, I do this on the side of that. I help out another friend's company. So like, essentially I sort of have 4 jobs. So I was already working a lot, and I did take some time off to sort of process, but weirdly enough, not necessarily work, but there was a time at the beginning of this year, about 6 months after Grant passed away, that I threw myself into DIY projects in my apartment that I don't even own. So I recognize now that was a distraction from what I was feeling. Yeah.
And there is a little bit of it that's sort of relatable and healthy. It's like, okay, I don't want to think about when I'm, what's causing me pain. And, full disclosure, I think some people in the community, in the audience, know my thing, but I've had a rough couple of years too. And just going through kind of the same emotions, you just, some of that's like, okay, I don't want to feel that way now, but what I've discovered, and, luckily it's something that sort of came to me early on, was that it's okay to feel however I'm feeling. And it doesn't matter if it's happy, sad, if it's, feeling excited about whatever project I'm on, whatever work I'm doing, whatever side project I'm doing, that's great. But if I'm feeling sad about the thing that's causing me pain, then that's okay too. And to just allow myself to experience that. And that's been, the best way that I feel like it's something that sort of helped keep me centered. And I don't know if that's useful for anyone else. I know, like I said, the holidays are a complicated time for a lot of people. So if that helps anybody out there, that is, my gift to you.
There's a level
Oh,
of balance, right?
Yeah.
There's a level
Yeah.
of balance, like completely distracting yourself 100% of the time so that you don't address any of your feelings unhealthy. Completely being ensconced by your grief at all times, 100% of the time, also unhealthy. So there has to be like a balance of you sort of addressing your feelings and analyzing them, but also allowing yourself time to continue to find joy.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional therapist, and I don't claim to be, but I do believe that during the holiday season, it has especially at this time of year, the end of the year, a lot of people do a lot of self-reflection. A lot of people do a lot of spiritual soul searching, and if
Make
you
New
find
Year's
yourself
resolutions.
things that they try and like reset everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very like high level like emotional content that's being invested in for a variety of different reasons, for a variety of different people, and for what they need. If you feel that you are overwhelmed, if you feel that you need to reach out, find someone that you can reach out to, find the help that you need, find a connection, find somewhere to be able to at least stay within, a connected space with people, or with just a person or a group of people that may be going through the same things. No one should have to go through any of this alone with the amount of technology that we have to be able to connect with other people.
Yeah.
So do yourself a privilege, give yourself a gift, this holiday season. If you need it, please do what you can to find that connection, that outlet. Hey,
can I say that this is that for me in a lot of ways? I mean,
think you just did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in many ways the most introverted person that I can think of it in some ways. A lot of this is the game face of, all right, I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna, make connections and hopefully be, a positive influence on other people. And, I hope that's the case. It's sort of a promise that I've made to myself, and, thank you guys for helping me keep it.
Well, thank you for staying connected with us and being a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how this works, right? And I'm glad that you find more than just value in it. I'm glad that you find meaning in it, and I hope that a lot of other people do too. That's if for anything, being able to share like the positivity and the passion of fandom, whether it's Star Trek or anything that you watch. If you find a group of commonality or a group of people that you have really strong interests with, that you can share and be yourself with, that's something that can't be overlooked, right? Because you have immediate agency with people who you can be yourself with, to drop that fourth wall, to drop the protectivism of not wanting to be hurt by society. At least there's that at the start, and then we'll see like how that progresses and develops and see how that matures for people. But there has to be a start, and you have to give yourself that chance. If there's, like I said, if there's one gift that you could give yourself at during this time of reflection, it's the opportunity to be able to stay connected.
Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
And with that, I mean, I don't want to push this, but one of the ways that so many people have stayed connected with Mission Log is, I know it's so
God, what a good
crass.
segue.
I know it's good, but it's also it's a little schlocky. But at the same time, though, we have met so many great people through our Patreon program and through Discord. So many people have come on for as little as $1 a month for their subscription, but they've been able to access probably the best feature that we have for our Patreon subscribers, and that's our Discord community. Being able to be part of that community, being able to grow and share and connect and contribute and stay dynamic and involved, I think has done a lot for a lot of people. It certainly has for me. I know it has for John. So that's something that we love sharing, and we want to make sure that everyone has at least the opportunity to take a look at that if that's worth your investment and time as well. So on behalf of everyone here at Roddenberry Podcast Network, thank you, Holly, for again being here with us tonight for Mission Log Live.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
There you go. You've been saving that one?
God. I'm one of those people now.
Yes, you are. And we love you for it. Alan, thanks for being such a great guest tonight.
Oh, it's as I said, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. To everyone out there, happy holidays where applicable.
Yes.
And for me, just be safe, be healthy, and be happy. And thank you for being part of our show tonight. Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment, executive producer Rod Roddenberry, technical production on Mission Log, and Mission Log Live is provided by the, I got to change John's words here. You're not indelicate. You're quite delicate, Earl Green. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. If you would like to support Mission Log directly, give us a look at patreon.com/Mission Log. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, protect yourself, and stay connected. Enjoy your fandom. Enjoy the end of the year. And we will be back with you soon next week.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.